What's up, everyone? Back for another Whodunit beer review, and today's beer comes courtesy of the Pittsburgh Brewing Company, and more specifically Anna from the Pittsburgh Brewing Company. So huge thanks to them for this beer. So Anna reached out. It was a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, and said, hey, I checked out your review of our Over, which was a collaboration they did with The Alchemist, and I reviewed that one back in December of last year, and she said we really enjoy the content, and we're doing something kind of unique, and we're wondering if you're interested in checking it out. So basically what they ended up doing is creating a mystery beer, and they wanted to send it out to some social media folk to see if they could guess what the beer is, and then after they send out all the boxes, they're going to announce on social media what the beer actually is. Of course, if you follow the channel, you know I've been doing the Whodunit beers for many years, and Whodunit is just my fancy way of calling them basically a blind/mystery beer. So I have a lot of fun with them. I haven't done a lot of them in the last couple years because you need people to either send or give me the beers. I can't really do them myself. So, you know, it's one of those things where if somebody reaches out like this, I'm all in. So I told her I was interested, and sure enough, a couple weeks later, they fired off a 4-pack of this beer. So again, if you're unfamiliar with what Whodunit beer reviews are, like I said, they are blind/mystery beer reviews where somebody will wrap up, conceal a beer, kind of like they did here, but they went the extra mile and did a whole label and everything. Then they will either send or give me said beer, and I'll review it like I do any other beer on my channel, with the lone exception being, of course, that I have no idea what the beer is. So at the end of the review, I try to guess the beer's style, its ABV, and if I'm feeling froggy, if I'm feeling confident, I try to guess the exact beer itself. Although today's review, a bit different. Why? Couple things. Number one, I already know it's from the Pittsburgh Brewing Company. They sent it to me, so I already know what brewery sent it my way. And number two, I already know the ABV of this one. It's 5%. Why? It doesn't actually say it on the can. It just says beer contains 1 pint or 16 fluid ounces. However, they just sent me a 4-pack in this cool, nifty thing asking if, in this package, asking if you're a beer expert. Think you're a beer expert? I do not. I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. It says crack one open and take a crack at guessing the style, which I'm going to try to do. I guess you throw in the hashtag mystery beer expert if you're doing it on like Instagram, or I guess you could even do it on like Untapped or whatever and go from there. And yeah, they just, here's where I know it's 5%. It says 5%. So that is unfortunate that I know the ABV, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to still try to guess the style. Now, I am actually reviewing this one on Friday, November 14th. I plan on posting this on Wednesday, November 19th. I don't know when they're going to announce this specifically. Probably, I'd assume, by the end of the month. I have not seen any other beer tubers get this package at all. I have seen a couple Instagram people, I believe, get the package, but I haven't looked at anything because I don't want to know what people are guessing and whatnot. I just want to kind of go in blind. You know, it's a mystery beer. So I guess we're going to see. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Pittsburgh Brewing Company, they're known for their Iron City beer, which is a regional basically macro-esque lager that is, think Genesee here in New York, but basically in the Pittsburgh area, or I guess you could say for the most part in Pennsylvania. They do Iron City beer, Iron City Light, Iron City Mango. I've only had the Iron City beer. I want to get to the reviews of all three of them at some point, but I can only get them in Erie, PA. Can't get them here in New York, so we'll get to them at some point on my travels to Erie and maybe to Mentor, Ohio. I'll pick up some of each. But anyway, as far as this one goes, I have no idea. Now, I did take this one out of the fridge about 15, 20 minutes ago because I don't want this to be ice cold. It is 5%. It's from Pittsburgh Brewing Company. I'm thinking maybe a lager at this point, but I have no idea because I don't know what this is. But we're going to crack this open, get it into the glass, and go from there. So I'm really stoked to see kind of what style this is or what they're going for exactly, because I just don't know. I don't think they're going to do like another lager, considering they already have that. We'll see color-wise what this looks like, but yeah, it looks like a lager of some sort. Or I shouldn't say a lager, but it definitely has a filtered kind of lager-esque look to it. Maybe it's not that filtered. Hang on. I will do something like that for now. Throw this over here. I mean, I just love the label. It just says beer. All right, so as far as how it looks, we have some dirty glass mafia that we got to get rid of, but damn, that looks a lot different than it does in person. So on camera, so as you can see, it does have some clarity. You can see the shadow of my hand, but it's not like crystal clear. In person, it definitely looks a little bit lighter. I'd say in person, it looks kind of more like that, how it has like a gentle light to it, say. Let me go from the bottom and see if that does anything. Not really. But yeah, I mean, it has more of a light kind of look to it. Let me hold it up to the light. Yeah. So it has a gentle haze. It almost looks like a wheat beer. That's what it kind of looks like. It has like this gentle haze, has like this golden orange color, had about 2 fingers of a bright white, somewhat creamy looking head, somewhat soap sudsy, but creamy, soap sudsy. Yeah, it kind of looks like honestly, this is just like an American pale wheat ale. That's what it kind of looks like to me. I don't know. So I don't think this is a lager. If so, it's an unfiltered lager. Let's get a nose. It smells like a wheat beer. There is a little bit of like a smokiness. It's not a huge smokiness like you get from like a Schlenkerla beer or like a smoked Helles from like a brewery that's like a lager brewery that's just, pumping them out. Like I've had like a smoked beer from, some American breweries where it's pretty smoky. Has a slight smokiness to it. It definitely has to me a big, like, to me more wheat than anything. I feel like this is a wheat beer. It has that aroma that I get with like an American pale wheat ale. It just has that weedy, kind of grainy kind of nose. Has a little bit of sweetness. There's some like nondescript like citrus characters, like a lemon zest. Maybe a little bit of like a red apple. Very malt driven. A touch of like a hoppy nature that's more in the realm of like a slight floral grassiness. But there is I want to say slight, and I said smite. There is a slight smoke character. Yeah, now it's starting to get bigger. Would they do a smoked Helles? I don't know. I'm trying to think of other smoked, like, just hit my brain piece. There's another smoked style that, to me, you almost never see, very rarely see it, but it's a Grodzicki, which is a Polish smoked wheat beer. I think the actual way to pronounce it is like Grodziskia. It's something like that. I'm Polish, you think I would know, but I don't. Would they do that? Here's the thing about Pittsburgh. Much like Buffalo and a lot of, like the Rust Belt cities, they're known for their Polish population, Polish food, the whole nine. Would they do something like that? I have no idea. But it definitely has a smokiness to it. I'm going to either say one of two things. This is like a smoked wheat beer. I don't know if they'll go for a Grodziskia. I don't know if like when they announce it, if I was to guess that, they would be like, this is what it is. Or if they would just say smoked wheat ale, or it's a smoked Helles. That's what the nose is screaming to me. And as it opens up, the smoke is getting a little bit more pronounced. Again, nothing like the Schlenkerlas or anything, but there's a smokiness here. I want to get into it. Cheers, everyone. Thanks again, Anna and Pittsburgh Brewing Company. This is pretty cool. Let's get into it. Oh. There is a little bit, I'm telling you, there's a little bit of smoke here. It's not big, not overwhelming. I don't think this is a smoked Helles. In fact, to me, the body and the mouthfeel of this does scream, to me, like a wheat beer. All right, let's go body mouthfeel. The body's like lower side of medium, maybe higher side of light, but like lower side of medium. Has a nice heft, it's 5%, so lower side of medium would be fine for this. So I'm telling you, there's smoke in here. As I just was talking about, there's a little bit of like a smoky nature on the back of the palate. So this has, to me, like a wheat beer kind of body to it. It's a little bit bigger for 5%, that maybe even more approaching medium as I'm sitting here kind of thinking about it. It's not super thin and watery and whatnot. The mouthfeel is where I really think this is a wheat beer. Again, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking it has a nice, like, mild to moderate carbonation, more approaching moderate, but like a lot of wheat beers, and if you follow the channel, you know I say this a lot about Belgian wit beers, and I'll say it about German Hefeweizens, not as much like American pale wheat ales or the Grodziskia style, because I don't think I've reviewed an actual beer within that style on my channel, but I've had them a couple times, maybe like 3 or 4 times before. But it has this beautiful, like, smoothness to it, and there's a creamy nature. And I always say it's the voodoo, like the Belgian beers, like they just, and the German beers, the wheat beers, where it's like, you drink it and you're like, I can't believe that's that carbonated, but that's smooth and creamy. That's kind of what's happening here. Maybe not to the level of a Hefeweizen or a Wit beer, but kind of in that realm. The taste to me, forefront, it's grainy malt, but it's more wheat to me than anything. A little bit of like, you could also say like a rye malt, because to me, this has a little bit of spiciness, but that smokiness is also making me think a little bit of like a spiciness as well. So definitely, I think this is a base wheat beer of some sort. Not positive, pretty confident. If not, then this is kind of just like a really well-rounded kind of like German wheat beer. Like you could say a Helles. I'm not getting that sourdough bread kind of feeling I get. Maybe you could say like a German Pilsner, maybe like a Czech Pilsner. As it passes through, that lemon zest is there. A little bit of that red apple core, maybe red apple skin, tannic red apple. There's a little bit of like just a generic stone fruit too. And then on the finish, it's grassy and floral with a slightly lingering smoke character. I don't know. It actually finishes quite dry with that lingering smoke character. This is actually pretty well balanced. Nice sweetness up front from the malt. It balances out. This is firmly dry with a mild to moderate bitterness, lingering smoke character. There's a little bit too of this. Again, the smoky character on the finish is kind of different. Pouring the rest. I'm not going to say for sure, that I'm going to nail this, because, usually when I shoot my shot and I'm like, I call out a specific style or a specific beer or something, I'm usually wrong, which is fine. Do this for fun. I am definitely not a beer expert, as they ask on the thing. I am a beer novice through and through. I don't think the Pittsburgh Brewing Company would do something this cool and be like, here's a mystery beer, and then throw just like, I think like a regular lager in here of any kind. They did something different with this one. There is a little bit of a lingering smoke character. If it's not a smoke character, it has this. If it's not a smoke character, there's something that's giving me a slight smokiness. There might be like a pepper character. Maybe they're brewing this with like jalapenos that like they had like kind of the heat removed or something. But there is what's the smoked jalapenos, like chipotle peppers, right? Like it kind of has like that kind of smokiness. There's a little bit of like a greenness too. Not a greenness as in like a hot burn or too fresh or whatever. Just a greenness from like almost a floral like vegetal thing. All right, so I think this is a smoke beer. The best guess I could go with this one, two things. Number one, this is I'm pretty sure this is a base wheat beer. We take in consideration that I think it's smoked, in that I know there's a huge Polish population in Pittsburgh, here in Buffalo as well. A Grodziskie, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what this beer is. If not, I'll throw out a secondary guess, a smoked Helles lager or a smoked, like some kind of smoked European lager. But I'm going to go with a Grodziskie. It's 5%, right in the realm. Actually, a lot of the Grodziskias are lower in ABV too. So, like a lot of smoked Helles lagers are getting like, between like 4 and 5%, not quite 5. But that'd be my guess. Would the Pittsburgh Brewing Company, known for Iron City beer, throw out a style like this? Maybe, just to mess with you. But I don't really know. So, rating on this is nice. This is nice. If it's the style I think it is, it's very well done. Some people might want a little bit more of that smoke character, because the smoke character to me isn't overwhelming. But it's noticeable enough for me to think that it's definitely a part of this beer, because I'm not somebody who loves smoke beer. If you follow the channel, you know that. But I've started to appreciate them more and more over the past couple of years. And I would say this is a smoke beer I could drink. So I'm going to give beer from the Pittsburgh Brewing Company. I'm going to give this a straight on 4 out of 5. I think this is a nice beer. And if it's exactly what I say it is, then they did an even better job. I'll give it like a 4.5. I know that's not really what you can do with ratings, but it's a 4 out of 5. Let's just say that. Price point availability, I have no idea. They set it my way. I don't know if you can get your hands on this. If you're not somebody in the social media realm, if they're just selling this at the brewery, that'd be awesome. It'd be cool to see more people try this and see what they think. And then again, the price point, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I will say this. The unfortunate thing about this beer review right now is that I have no idea what this beer is, but we're not going to find out in this review. like I said, they're going to announce this on social media at some point. As I'm doing this review, they clearly haven't announced it. I don't know if they'll announce it by the time I post this on Wednesday that you'll see this. This is going to be a Whodunit Wednesday, no Western New York Wednesday for that week. But yeah, so my official guess, obviously 5% already, Pittsburgh Brewing Company, a Grodziskia from Pittsburgh Brewing Company, a smoked Polish wheat beer. That'd be my guess. If not, like I said, smoked Helles lager. That would be where I kind of land. And yeah, that's all I got for you. So anyway, now after doing this, I am going to go check out the couple Instagram people that I follow that I know have gotten this. And I want to go see what they say about it. Yeah, I'm curious to see what people are guessing here. I could see some people just say like this is like a, some kind of lager. And I think that finish, if you don't think it's smoke, you might think it's something else, maybe even a slight astringency that you don't pick up on. For me, because I know that smoky nature and drinking so many beers over the years, it kind of shows up. Yeah, so that's my guess. Am I right or wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'll post in the community page, or maybe I'll do a quick follow-up video after they announce it and let you guys know how I did. I probably failed miserably, but the one thing about Whodunit/mystery/blind beer reviews is that they're fun. I don't pretend to know what I'm talking about. I don't care if I know what I'm talking about. I tell you what my palate perceives. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've failed miserably at a lot of these Whodunit beer reviews, and those are the more fun ones where like you just crash and burn because you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go all in and call this out, and then it's like totally opposite end of the spectrum. With the reveal does a 180, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. And then there's other times I've nailed the beer. To me, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that it's fun. Hopefully, you enjoyed me reviewing this one. And a huge thanks once again to Anna and the Pittsburgh Brewing Company for watching that over review, enjoying the content, and sending this my way. Hopefully more breweries get on board with doing stuff like this. This is fun. This is a great way to engage the community. Not even social media, folks. Just forget about the internet. This would be fun if a local brewery did it here in Buffalo and just was like, hey, we're going to make a mystery beer. Try it out. Here in New York, you don't have to put the ABV on the label. I don't think the ABV is on this label, but it's on the box. So in New York State, maybe you could just throw them and just have people just guess whatever. I don't know. All I know is that this was a lot of fun, and I hope more breweries get on board with this one. So hopefully they do this more often too. This would be fun. If this is a hit for Pittsburgh Brewing Company, I would love to try more of their beer, their mystery beers going forward. So anyway, if you've had this one before, anybody out there, post in the comment section. What did you get from it? What did you think about it? Am I in the realm of what it should be or what it's going to be? Did you get something completely different? I would love to hear from you. And like I said, I'll do a follow-up some way. Either check my community page where you can post and you can see it on both. You can see it on, you'd have to go to my channel and then click on, I think it's either community or post, and it'll be there. Maybe I'll follow up and let you guys know how I did, but I'm hoping I did all right. If not, on to the next one. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another Whodunit beer review. Like I said, can't do these on my own, so if anybody out there wants to fire off some Whodunits down the road, feel free to contact me. My Linktree is in the description box. You click on that, you click on email me, you got my email. Fire off an email. It's the easiest way to get in contact with me. I try to reply to all emails that I possibly can. So once again, a longer review, but that's how these Whodunit beer reviews are. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another Whodunit beer review. To the next one. Cheers. 5%. Yeah, I can tell it's like that 4.5%, 5% realm, but that's only because what I'm guessing the beer to be is kind of in that realm. No alcohol, sure, no nothing. Good balance. Cheers.